In this video, let us discuss about slenderness ratio. So, you know what is slenderness ratio? Slenderness ratio is represented with lambda, and this lambda is nothing but the effective length divided by minimum radius of gyration. And if this lambda is higher, if lambda is high, such member is called slender member. Slender member. So, what is the problem with slender member? Generally, slender members tends to bend easily, isn't it right? But in case of these tension members and compression members, and more particularly in compression members, see, this is a compression member which is subjected to compressive forces. Let me draw this figure here. See, this is the member and this is a slender member. Lambda is high. So what happens when lambda is high? When L effective by R is high. So when compressive force is acting on this member is going to buckle. What is going to happen? It is going to buckle. Lateral displacement. Lateral displacement. It is going to deflect in the lateral. Okay. So as I told you earlier, when you take a long stick, and when you try to apply force on both sides, a compressive force, what happens is it is not going to get crushed or it is going to rupture. What happens it is going to bend, right? If this is a straight long stick, it is going to bend in this way because it is a slender member, and slender members, when subjected to compressive forces, they are going to buckle. So slenderness ratio is significant in the compression members. This buckling is not going to take place in tension members, isn't it right? See, this is a member, and when you apply tension force on this member, is this member going to buckle in this way? No way, right? It is going to get stretched. It is not going to buckle. So tension members never buckle. Okay, so slenderness ratio has no significance in case of tension members. They are only significant in the compression members. But we have certain situations where the slenderness ratio has a little significance. Okay, so as I told you, the slenderness ratio of a tension member is defined as ratio of unsupported length or effective length to its least or minimum radius of gyration. So there is no limitation on the slenderness ratio of tension members. Okay, since slenderness ratio has no significance in the tension members. Okay, since stability is of little concern here. But however, the member may be subjected to compressive loads during transportation and erections. And that is the situation where slenderness plays a little significant role. Okay, for example, there is a big bar, big tie beam, and this tie beam has to be lifted above, okay, by using a crane. So you have to erect that member. Maybe you have to transport that member. In such cases, what happens is if this member is long and slender, it is going to, if a crane is holding at this portion, what happens it is going to bend in this way. Or if it is going to hold this here and trying to lift, it is going to bend in this way, right? So this slenderness ratio only plays a significant role, or least significant or least important, in the transportation and erection works only. Okay, so in order to provide adequate rigidity in such situations, what we need to do is we try to adopt certain slenderness ratio, as you can see in this figure. So this is the table from IS code 800, and this table gives you the maximum effective slenderness ratio that a member can have. These are the maximum limits. See here the tension member in which a reversal of direct stresses occur due to load other than wind or seismic forces. Reversal of stresses, and stress direction is going to reverse. In such situations, we are going to use 180. Of course, this reversal of stresses are going to be mainly because of wind and seismic. But here, what he is telling is in the code, when tension members are subjected to reversal of stresses, okay, due to some loads other than wind or seismic, you have to limit the slenderness ratio to 180. And a member subjected to compressive forces resulting only from a combination of wind and earthquake actions, provided the deformation of such a member does not adversely affect the stresses, then it is 250. A member normally acting as a tie member in a roof truss, that is as a tension member or a bracing member, which is not considered effective when subjected to reversal of stresses resulting from wind and earthquake, the slenderness ratio is to be limited to a value of 350. So when a member is acting as a tension member and it is not effective in taking the reversal of stresses because of wind and earthquake, such a member can have a slenderness ratio of maximum 350. But in case it is subjected to reversal stresses, then it is limited to 180. And members always in tension, you can go for 400. When the member is only subjected to tensile forces and there is no reversal of forces, then you can go for 400 as the value of slenderness ratio.